Say that word right there.
Well, let me see it. Okay. Geroosterminer. Geroosterminer. What are the two dots over the U? Geroosterminer. Oh, that's is it German?
It's German.
Oh. Geroosterminer.
That might be right. What's up, y'all? This is Sanj.
What's up? It's your girl Camille, and you're now tuned in to Brunchism.
What's up, y'all, and welcome to this week's episode of Brunchism. I am Camille.
I'm Sanj.
Yeah, I feel like I always say Brunchism. Brunchism.
You got to enunciate.
For real. And I be talking about people with lisps and stuff, so I really need to make sure that I'm like clear.
Oh, that's funny.
When I'm talking.
You ain't getting lisps, bruh.
I don't want no full circle moment, you know? I don't want somebody to be like this you on Twitter. Because I'm fucking up on saying the name of our
They got your little soundbite or whatever.
Wasn't you the one that said? Right, that's my
What's that?
Brunchism. You know, ism for sure. Ism if you nasty. But welcome hilarious. To this week's episode of Brunchism. Just a reminder, our org of the month for October, in the spirit of the election being less than 2 weeks away now. Yeah. Or exactly 2 weeks away.
Is there 13
exactly.
Days?
No.
13 days, right?
13, yeah.
Yeah.
Please follow the New Black Era on Instagram. If you're in California, they have a lot of great voting resources and information to help you all understand the different propositions that are going to be on the ballot and different positions and all of that good stuff. So if you need help with filling out your ballot, make sure you look them up. They have a lot of good information, a lot of good resources. If you don't want to vote on the presidents, great, but vote on all of the other little things.
Vote on some other shit, yeah.
Happen locally, wherever you are, because that's what's important. I don't want to vote for two nasty ass old white men either, so I'm not gonna judge. I feel you.
Do you? Cheers to that.
The niggas are really nasty. It's nasty awards. And they're debating again. They're debating again tomorrow. So that will be a nasty debate.
They're saying they muting mics. So that'll be funny.
That is going to be funny. Just because I can imagine these two old ass niggas really yelling still. Like, you know, where you can faintly hear someone off mic. I imagine we're going to get a lot of that. And then, you know, for the next week or so, because they some old ass niggas, their throats are gonna be sore, and so they can't even they can't give speeches or anything because they were trying to yell over into the other person's mic. That is my prediction for tomorrow's debate. So we'll see.
That's funny.
Muting the mics, it's a necessary move, but
agreed.
How it's going to play out should be interesting. And God forbid there be another insect anywhere on camera.
I can't take it.
Niggas might explode for real.
I can't take it. I'm excited for all this to be over.
Were you reading when niggas was calling the fly the Ancestors? Did you see that?
No, why would they do that?
On the Twitter, Sanj, they were like, that fly is one of the ancestors. Like, yeah. I'm like, your ancestors are flies? The dirtiest, nastiest insect. They be leaving larvae and shit when they land and they like eat shit and go towards decay. That is your ancestor? We are not from the same lineage, baby girl. I was like, y'all are not.
And my niggas ain't coming back just to land on this nigga forehead. They coming back to put a curse. We not coming back just to land there and be on TV, bro. We better get some FaceTime. Nah, my niggas coming. Hey. Hey, we ancestors, we in this bitch. Hey, what's up? Hey, what's up, grandchild? Hey, what's up, great grandchild? How y'all doing?
You know we
man?
have to come represent as this fly on Mike Pence.
Stop.
Your ancestors are powerless and dirty. That's what you just said, and
That's
that
horrible.
is not true over here.
That's
it was ugly. People were really saying that, like,
not my ancestors.
Yeah, first we have to go through that whole phase where I am not my ancestors or whatever, and now you telling me your ancestors are flies. Well, I wouldn't want to be them either. So I understand what y'all were saying now.
That's hilarious.
If your ancestors were flies, then yeah, I am not my ancestors. You're right. Give me a shirt. I feel you.
And if your ancestors are flies, it makes sense why you are their wildest dreams. All right. Because that's crazy.
Wow, dots are really being connected here today.
That's really crazy.
It's all starting to come together because it's making sense.
And fly landed like, yo.
I want to shout out my daddy's side. Like, excuse me.
All the Johnsons stand up.
They call it the fly the ancestor. That's how you know that people just be saying shit. You know, on the internet when people just...
Yeah, as long as it's words that people normally say, they can say it too.
The buzzwords, ancestor, intention, toxic, depression. You know, those are the buzzwords. So they just sprinkle it into there and then manifest.
Manifest. Oh man, a lot of these words get an onslaught, just an abuse. You're right.
They just sprinkling it everywhere. So they saw the fly and they was like, well, I can't say that the fly manifested itself. So what can I say the fly did? Oh, the ancestor. That's on the word bingo. That's on the Twitter word bingo. We got it.
That'll really get them.
We really got to stop the verified accounts on Twitter.
That's funny.
Anyway,
all right.
What's on your menu for this week, Sanj? How are you? How the heck are you?
I'm all right. I'm doing good. I'm pushing. It's like, I feel like I should keep track of, maybe not, of the weeks that I've just, since March. Like, it's crazy how much time has passed of us just living the new normal. Like, it's been March. It's damn near November. Like, I just look back to myself in March and I could have never thought that we would still be dealing with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to our leadership for keeping us in the trenches. Because it's just, every day I just wake up, I'm like, this is some bullshit. You know what I mean? Even, especially like a public health person, like, every day I wake up, this is some damn bullshit. You feel me? Like, just knowing. So, I don't know, it's wild. I don't know if you've been keeping up with COVID news, but it's like seeing some of like the European countries where it's kind of like been resurfacing and showing like a pattern is coming back a little harder. There's some states that are, again, spiking in rates and like stuff like that. Just, oh my gosh. It seems
and
impossible.
That's happening in places where they like had it under control, at least for a while.
Some sort of time. And then they like got, a little bit too free or whatever. But yeah, it's just crazy to see like the patterns. But not much really, like just staying home, working out, working.
How consistent have you been with working out? I just started back and I am sore.
You want to know how consistent I've been? Really, really? I went 9 weeks.
But I don't mean to.
I went 9 weeks straight. I've been going 9 weeks straight. It's about to be 10 weeks.
Damn, that's what's up.
I didn't want to. I sometimes I feel like when I say stuff out loud, it be jinxing me. Oh, I don't want to. I'm sorry. I don't have the permits for these. I had to show the permits for these.
Enough.
Now, surprisingly, I've been hitting in the morning like pretty consistently for like 10 weeks or so. So I feel like that's been like the outlet. That makes me feel like I've left the house, like I've done something. You know what I mean? Like just leaving the space. So stuff like that is cool. But yeah, like just working, routining, doing the same shit as always. But something exciting that happened to me. So like, and I also feel like now very little shit gets me excited. Like things that normally wouldn't get me excited just because it's shit to do. Like right now we'd probably be planning for Halloween or something like that. You know what I mean? And it's kind of just like, all right.
I
So
don't know
like
what I'm gonna be.
Did you decide what you're gonna do? Or I'll ask you during
No.
your weekly thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so I ended up getting like, I'm like obsessed with coffee mugs. I have a bad obsession with coffee mugs. And coffee, yeah. Like my coffee mugs come from the coffee, and I like really bougie coffee. So I got these mugs, and I got the wrong ones. Anyways, I had to call to get the mugs back, and they let me keep the wrong mugs and sent me new ones. And I just wanted to, like, that shit got me so hyped because there's no substitute for good customer service. Like, there ain't nothing that'll keep me around spending money with y'all niggas. Like, y'all giving me free shit because I made a mistake.
There's no better sign of getting older than getting excited about little shit like this. Seriously. Because that would have me hyped. Like, wait, I get to get this in the back.
I was like, wait, I called to get a return. Because I called to get a return label. Like, can I get a return label so I can exchange these? And they were like, oh, you don't have to return them. You go ahead and keep those. We'll send you I was like, what? That was just like the highlight of my week. I can forget that moment.
That's great. I'm very happy for you.
It's a highlight of the week for me. So shit like that just gets me hyped. And I was like, oh my gosh, why am I so damn excited about this? But I'm still hyped. Even just telling the story again.
It's a new mug. I personally don't want people in my life who won't get excited about the free mug and the mug that they really wanted.
Facts. And the mugs are
anyone not happy about a 2-for-1 special is not the person that needs to be in my life. So
and the mugs are of high quality. Like they're high quality. I'm like, no, okay, bro. I'm up 4 mugs in the last week. If I keep adding, you know how many mugs I can have at the end of the month, Kim?
You can have one for every day.
That's okay. I literally said the same exact. I was like, I could literally have one each day without running the dishwasher.
Imagine a nigga handing you your Wednesday mug on a Friday. Now it's fucking problems. Like, put that back.
What day is it? What? Nah, please.
Please.
Bring it on. And then, so yeah, that was like the highlight of my week. But I feel like leaving the house to like walk outside more, like go back and get the DC energy. Because funny enough, it's still around. Like on the weekends, the streets be packed. Like we really have to like avoid people. And so,
are places open? Or are niggas really just outside?
Nah, places. That's what I was saying. Is like people are getting bold. Like there's clubs that are opened. Like
clubs.
Yes, there's clubs open. Like they have little backdoor patio areas, but they're like the inside is open too. People are doing like hookah and stuff inside. Like you can go inside. On the weekend brunches, people still go up on the side of the road, bruh. Like, you know how they're taking over the roads with like the brunches? People be going, they be packed. The streets just be packed on weekends. So it's always like fun to me to just walk around and catch the energy and just a Sunday or Saturday brunch where I'll just walk in the morning and just go check it out. And it's just seeing people step out on their 10s, just like outfits down. That's the shit I miss, like going to brunch and like peeping folks' outfits and shit like that. So, but people in DC are getting bold. Like they're in clubs, they're in the hookah bars, they're inside, bro. Like niggas not stopping.
I feel like that's the whole East Side and a little bit of the South. Like not everybody that I know, but people that I've seen from LA that are going on vacation, they're heading straight to Houston, straight to Atlanta, straight to New York. They're going to all the places that like, because they definitely have been inside the club. But I haven't seen, although people have definitely been out in California.
Yeah.
Including me. I haven't seen anybody inside like a club. Everything has still been outside.
Yeah, so yeah. I mean, that's like I've gone out to eat a couple times, like, but I'll only sit outside and like I'll try to limit that. But some people are just it's so funny to me. They're just turned. It don't matter. Like, it's not stopping. Like, see somebody in just like 1 p.m. stumbling down the sidewalk, just drunk. It's her birthday or whatever. So shit like that is just it's funny to me. So I started to like walk around just to people watch a little bit more and catch a little bit like some energy. It's getting cold, so people are definitely getting bolder as far as going inside.
So is this what people mean when they say herd immunity? Like, if I'm out all the time, then I'm immune? I'm genuinely asking. I don't know what that means.
So
is this why people are like...
Actually, no. And that's such a good question. But...
I'm treating me like a seventh grader.
No, I'm serious. Niggas really don't understand shit and they don't be asking.
Oh, no, I'm asked.
Facts. So herd immunity actually is not that. Herd immunity has to do with like everybody. So it's like a certain amount of people who need to have immunity to a virus in order to protect the people who are more vulnerable. So like it depends on the disease. So like things like measles and polio. Well, polio is eradicated, allegedly. Kind of came back, but not up on that science. But like, yeah, shit like measles, like it's a certain amount of the population who needs to have immunity. So either vaccinated or having gotten the disease and then having antibodies. For those who don't, for people who can't, or yeah, I'll say who can't get the vaccines or who can't get immunity can be protected. In general.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So, I mean, there were people who were talking about like, oh, if we just go out and expose ourselves, we will get to a point of herd immunity. But I think for COVID, the number of people who would have to die for us to reach herd immunity would be really fucked up.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. I was just curious.
I feel it. I love it. What about you? Tell me about your week. Tell me what's up, what's cracking, what's lacking.
First of all, what? What's cracking and what's lacking? No, nothing. That's first. Nothing is cracking or lacking. Okay. I went apple picking, and it was so much fun. And then we did a picnic. I almost forgot about that because I was about to come in here and say I don't have nothing on my menu. But
that's funny. Apple picking. So you just like. Can you tell me? I've never gone up. They give you a basket, you fill it out?
Well, they gave us bags, but I have my own basket.
Oh, it's a BYOB.
No, so you go. We went like an hour-ish out from LA. I think we were east. I mean, we had to be east. It couldn't be west. We'll be in the water. But...
And that, kids, is your geography.
But it was free to go, and you just pay for the apples per pound. But they also had like a pumpkin patch and a corn maze, and they had like different kinds of apples. Like, oh, if you want to pick Granny Smith apples, then you go over here. If you want to pick Fuji apples, then you go over here. So it was cool. And it was free. We did both of those. It was another genre or species of apples, but we didn't go to that patch. But it was fun.
How'd the apples taste?
We had like a little picnic. My Granny Smith one was good. I haven't ate a Fuji one yet, but I made sure I rinsed them off because, boy, were they dirty. But it's because we was in nature and shit. But of course, on the way up there, we saw hella American flags, Trump flags, police flags, which, why do these niggas have a flag? Everybody can have a flag.
Funny what happens when you go east.
Everybody can't have a damn flag, okay? So that was interesting, but we genuinely didn't have any problems. Where we started off at the first patch, I mean, it was people there, but we went down to where like the Granny Smith apple patch was. We took the tractor ride because it looked cool, but we didn't realize it was taking us like all the way at the bottom. And then it was like this little like festival looking place, but it was just people everywhere. So it was like, we're actually gonna go back up to where there are less people and some more darker people. But it was fun. Got to pick some apples. I was like hunting for apples and shit. You got to find the good ones with the right color. You know, I never did no shit like that before. So it was cool. We tasted some good apple cider from the apples that were native to where we was at. It was cool. So that was nice. And then we had like a nice little picnic. We had to drive to find a patch of grass though that looked safe for some niggas to be sitting out there picnicking. Isn't that ironic when you think about what the word picnic means? But anyway, that was fun. So that was like the highlight of my little week. I got new furniture, which is something, you know how you were saying like the mugs made you happy? Yeah. My friend gave me this like geometric bookshelf.
Okay.
And it just fit right on in.
That's beautiful. Feng shui shit.
Stuck a plant on that bitch, a candle. My yoga mat fit, and my yoga mat matches the color of my apartment, so it just all fit in. I never thought I would be this type of bitch, but whoa, I'm loving it here. Everything is like, and then I've been thinking, you know what? I should redecorate for the fall. And so I've been thinking about that too. I know, and I'm really excited. This adulting shit, it's so much different when I was 22 and 23 living by myself in San Diego.
I know the other day I was grocery shopping and I'm like, we need fresh flowers. I'm gonna buy some fresh flowers because it's always fresh flowers in my house. Why? I don't know. That's just the shit that I like now.
Before I had me a bed, a couch, and a dresser that doubled as a TV stand, and that was it.
Bruh, the dresser TV stand combo. It's a mark of youth. Like, it's a mark of immaturity. Stop. Get it off. Get a TV stand. Mount that shit.
Mount it. Just do it. It's okay. It doesn't even take long. It's not even that hard. Like, you can do it. But
mount that motherfucker. Stop playing these games.
Isn't it crazy to think? Not a plant. Now, I didn't have not a plant in sight. I knew that I wanted some, but the way niggas was catching flights, them po plants would have just been sitting there thirsty. Now when I go out of town, I call my little sister.
You need one of these bad boys.
Hey, girl, can you water my plants for me? That's the type of person that I am.
Can I drop off my plants with you this weekend? I'll bring them over.
My little sister got a key. I was like, I kept a spare key at that house, so here's where it is. And if you could just please come over and water my plants for me.
That's hilarious.
That is where I'm at with it now. It's just, life comes, I don't know if I'll say full circle, but we did a little
something.
A little 180. Maybe not a 180.
Say maybe 100. We hit a full 100. We hit a full 100.
100. But that's pretty much it. I didn't have too crazy of a week. I have, but in general, I will say that I have been a little reckless as far as not reckless, but I have been going out to restaurants and shit. But I've been tipping well when I go. And I live alone, so I've been alone. I haven't even went to go see my dad or anything. Right. I know that I have been out a lot, or I'll go to a birthday party or something. So then I'll stay my ass here by myself.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've been responsibly reckless.
Yeah. I feel you. I've been eating out a little bit. Like I said,
please, Psalms, this is a family podcast.
Sorry, guys. I ate outdoors. I don't know. It just is. It's just there. That's what it is.
I can't be in the house all the time.
Yeah.
And so if that means, going apple picking with my niggas.
Apple pick.
Then I'm gonna do that.
I feel it.
I'm just gonna be conscious enough to just be by myself. I'm not gonna be around anybody that is at risk.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's one thing I honestly have not been seeing outside of the people I live with. Have not socialized in months. Months. It's been so long. So that's kind of interesting. It's weird, like not seeing your friends for that long or not being in like social situations for that long. But I mean, it is what it is, I guess.
Oh, for Halloween?
Oh yes. Did you decide what you're gonna do? Are you gonna get homie, family, or
my sister?
Which
one of
one?
my sisters. I won't say which one, but my dad
I'm
is
guess
like
in my
doing
head.
yeah, and tell me in the chat. My dad is doing like a little Halloween shindig for his grandchildren, like for the family at his house or whatever. And then Heaven's family is doing something too, because her like little cousins, their birthdays, I think, are like they're somewhere between the 28th and the 31st. So we're gonna house hop or whatever. But my sister wanted to dress up, and so she was like, "Let's be Hooters girls," which normally I'm all with that shit. But I'm like, well, we must be around a lot of little kids and stuff, you know? Like, I don't think that we should do that. But I really want to do it. Like, I think that's a great idea, but I'm like, ugh, I don't think that we should do that. So I was thinking that what if we be
funny.
like ninjas, because you already have the mask? But then I'm like, I think that's appropriation. And so I don't think I could do that.
Oh boy.
I'm trying to incorporate something that already has a mask in it, you know?
Yeah, so it's not ruining the costume.
But not like a whole, I want to be Scream and then
right.
You can't see a bitch face. I just meant this part of it. A nurse, maybe? It's actually not a bad idea. I don't want to be no nurse.
It is basic.
I want to be like, you know, Megan Thee Stallion did it one year where she had on all black and she had like the red like ribbons around. Isn't that Mortal Kombat?
Can you be like a ninja, but like when white people try to say the N-word, you can explain it like not that kind of ninja. Like when you, what's up, my ninja? Not ninja. No, not y'all kind of ninja.
I don't think I can do that. Sorry, had to hit the lights. But yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna be. I guess I'll figure it out. I really just want to get a good picture off. I might be a scarecrow again. I had a lot of fun with that. The Wizard of Oz. There we go. Boom, a group costume.
That's a good one.
The scarecrow didn't have no brain. I could live with that.
Are you putting like mad effort into your costume this year? Or just
not
enough?
Mad effort. But I like Halloween, so I'm gonna do something.
I know, yeah. I would be surprised. All right.
If I didn't do anything again.
We'll keep us updated.
I will.
We know it's your fave.
I'll try my best. It really is. It just kicks off all of the good holidays. Now it's about to be just like a train of fun holidays.
Yeah, I feel you.
It doesn't sound like you do, but that's okay.
I just don't think I feel like the holidays are going to just be so different.
Why? Because of COVID?
Yeah, because of the Rona.
Yeah, but if I know my family like I think I do, niggas is having Thanksgiving, at least. Maybe we could do like a to-go box Thanksgiving. I'll bring it up in the group chat and see what they say.
Yeah, be that person. Be that person. All right. Oh, it's time for the main course.
No.
I wasn't expecting that.
That'd be me eating.
We heard you. But you know, obviously it's a lot going on right now with globally as far as civil social unrest, as people want to call it. I know we talked about the NSARS hashtag last episode, but you know, and I think the episode before that I was talking about what's going on in Armenia, as far as just like learning more. But I know like today I woke up and it was just everything at once.
It looked like the world was on fire.
Yeah, you know, we hearing
because
about
it is.
Cameroon, we hearing about, you know, the Congo, Nigeria. It's still, you know, it's even actually getting worse since the last time we talked about it, right? Um,
That
and
boat that's tipping
obviously,
over.
right? Chile, I think Bolivia,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it's crazy. Like, I don't know, it's it's always so unsettling, like times like that, because it's as a person who usually cares, I'll say, like, it just ends up being so hard on you. Like, it's just so much going on. You don't know what to do, what to read, what to look at, what to give your energy to, what's good for you. Like, how do you, and making sure you still get through the rest of your day. You know what I mean? So I felt like it was worthy to have a conversation surrounding just that feeling of like overwhelmingness.
Sometimes I even feel bad for kind of being like, oh well, I need to do some self-care to help make me feel better. Like make me feel better. And nigga, I'm not getting shot at. I'm not there aren't schools getting blown up around me, you know, like so even when I have that thought of like, oh, this is overwhelming, this is a lot, I need to take some time to like take care of myself. Like, but there are so many people right now who don't have the capacity to take the time to care about themselves because they are like quite literally fighting for their lives. And even though we are fighting for our lives in America as well, it's very much more amplified in other places. So I even get a sense of guilt of even thinking like, oh, you know, how can I take care of myself in this moment? Like, girl, fuck you. It's people getting shot like while they were just chilling, sitting there dancing and singing.
Yeah, that's
about not wanting to get shot.
Yeah, the sense of guilt is mad real, and like I feel like it's something that a lot of people feel, or at least if you're a person who like gets affected by this kind of stuff, it's like, I think, like, you know, at the end of the day, taking that self-care day isn't necessarily going to prevent or change what's happening at, you know, all these other places. You know what I mean? Like, to me, at least with all this happening, I think like the most helpful thing for me is to like go back to my understanding of global politics and global history, and knowing like the problem is systematic. So me as an individual, I can't carry all of it. If it's anything, it's like about situating and planning with folks who are going to create counter or systems that are counter, at least to what's harming folks at that point. You know what I mean? Like, it's just so rooted in imperialism and colonialism, all of this, especially when we talk about like Africa, as far as being a continent that was completely carved out by Europeans for their own interests.
The whole ass continent.
The whole thing,
like,
the entire continent. Like, so you
the
can
biggest
think,
continent.
right? And so like the amount of reparations that are owed to Africa as a continent, it would just be ridiculous. You know what I mean? When you go back to the amount of genocide, the taking of resources, you know, like the way that they've completely carved up countries to look like things they weren't before for their own interests. Like, it's gonna be a lot of unrest. Like, I saw somebody, and it's so true, but it's like it's rotten to the core, because that's where the problem actually begins. That's actually what gives the military and police and the government the ability to actually inflict violence upon its own citizens. You know what I mean? Like, and it's crazy to see. Like, I don't care how much I understand global politics, it's crazy to see like some of the videos and stuff that are going around of people just peacefully protesting and then just being completely violated. You know what I mean?
And seeing that happen like everywhere is what's scary to me. Like, this is happening across the board to every oppressed group that's telling the people that are supposed to be leading them safely and with their best interest in mind. All across the world, everyone's like, hey, y'all are actually not doing that great of a job, and we would like for y'all to do better, and like be nice to us and value us. And all of these governments are responding with just shooting people down.
Right.
With a little twist on it.
Right. And I
That's
mean,
insane.
it is, and it's this pattern of violence by, police, military, etc. Right, state sanctioned, as we might call it, like this is state sponsored. It's like mind blowing sometimes, and I think like the point you make about this guilt of at least being in the United States and being in America is a little bit of like there is this sense of American privilege of like the wars happen over there while all of this stuff happens around the time of the United States political elections. You know what I mean? Like you will see patterns like this before an American election in other countries. And so it really just to me signals like this crazy and ridiculous amount of power that comes with just being in this country. You know what I mean? Like to make it so an entire country's government can topple or completely be built by an election, and depending on the outcome, just shows you how deep-seated our issues with imperialism are. Really, like, it's no way that any country should have this much power over global politics. You feel me? Like, it's really something.
Sorry. But yeah, I don't know. This has all been really, it's been a lot. Mm-hmm. It's a lot because a lot of the times I feel like in situations like this, it's like who are we talking to, right? Like the people that I follow that are educating me on what's going on and giving their perspective and even saying the why, right? Like it's imperialism, it's capitalism, it's white supremacy, right? Y'all are telling this to me, and thank you because I'm learning. But like the conversations that we're having on both sides, we having them with each other, with the people that are already like on our side. Like
I 100% agree.
You're doing this whole thread, which is great because you might be educating some people, but the people that you like talking spicy to, my nigga, is not even your audience, and they don't even care to listen. So I'm like, who are we talking to?
I agree. And it's like
that's a little frustrating.
It is very frustrating because I think at least one thing that stood out for me as somebody who's kind of seen some of this come and go is like, I feel like sometimes social media wise, we could pick up and drop hashtags, like they come and go. But those events and those people, like they're still having to live those consequences and suffer through those, whatever it is that we were trying to bring attention to. So I think when you bring up like, who are we talking to? It's something that definitely sits with me because I remember when we were talking about like, oh, slavery is still alive in Libya. And there was like a whole hashtag for that a few years back. Went viral, all the attention, right? And then I remember like a year or so ago, or even less than a year, where they were like showing videos of those same exact slaves still in the same country, in the same situation. You know what I mean? So like, I guess for me, the conversation was more around what's next and how do we alleviate this shitty feeling that really, in my opinion, does absolutely nothing. Like me feeling a certain kind of way as an individual does nothing for this thing that I care about. Right. And so, and not everybody has necessarily money to give. And sometimes even that just doesn't, it's not like I could deposit money to this organization and I just all of a sudden feel better. You know what I mean? It doesn't really alleviate, at least for me, that feeling. It's just like, okay, I've done one small thing, but like, it's still completely unsettling. So I don't necessarily have the answers, but I do think that we kind of have to pivot to something different. Other than like continuously picking up and dropping hashtags and like, because to me it also creates this sense of desensitization. Yeah. Like you be like everybody's like, all right, it's always something. It's always something. It's always something.
And it gives me a sense of like hopelessness too, just a little bit. Maybe not hopeless. Well, no, hopelessness is right, but in addition to that, kind of like, we're living in an age where everything is like fast paced, come and go. So like you said, a hashtag can be here today and gone tomorrow. So I, might be excited as someone who's been saying like, oh my gosh, we need y'all help so much. Our police are killing us. And then all of a sudden, it's the hot topic for the next like 2 weeks or months. So I'm like, shit, yes, finally things are about to change. And then nothing happens. Now everybody's just on to the next horrible thing that's happening. Which is all bad because nothing is being fixed. We're shedding light to the fact that everything is horrible across the board, which is great. But I don't think anyone has the capacity to really help or put aid towards every single issue. So we need to, start dividing and like, hey, y'all 10, work on this issue, give it your all. We're going to work on this and give it our all. Of course, we're going to support each other and help. And this is what worked over here. So hopefully this will help over here. But we all can't and shouldn't put all of our energy to all of the horrible things that are happening, because then you're just putting a little bit into everything when multiple people can be putting their all into different things and actually getting things done.
I agree. And I don't know, this might be bad to say or maybe controversial, but it reminds me of something like we were talking about during the last episode when we talk about like a comment. And I honestly, this week I saw it too, like people who are talking about we should amplify the hashtag #EndSARS just as much as we amplified for Black Lives Matter. And it makes me think of this. It's like, to me, it's more so asking for assistance from the same people who amplified that message, but not necessarily that they have to be knowledgeable and involved in that. You know what I mean? Like, I think it makes sense to ask people like, hey, you were successful. Can you help us amplify this message, rather than being like, okay, you gave that energy there, I need you to give that same energy here. It's not possible to always do that, to give the same energy to every single issue, like you're saying. Like, we don't have the capacity. And it's like, that's the Superman syndrome that really has gotten Black people nowhere. It's trying to be like that completely all saving thing. And it's like, we don't need that. We don't need this one central figure who we all need to pin our hopes and dreams on. We could have different lanes and stay in those lanes and just try to maybe use whatever tools we got to help each other. But
yeah, I think that would be really helpful. If I see what you were doing, like, it would be different if Nigerian folk was like, hey, amplify this, amplify #EndSARS like you did Black Lives Matter, because once y'all did, these are all the benefits that came from Black Lives Matter, right? Niggas is still trying to figure this shit out with BLM. They're still like hella kinks to iron out with BLM. So if everyone was able to, and of course we should all show support for each other across the board. That's not what I'm trying to get across at all. Just this idea that, if you were if you were putting all of your resources and focusing so hard on BLM, when you find out about something else that's going on similar somewhere else, you can be like, hey, here's what we did over here, and we will like help you and let you know how to get this shit done. Like, we got your back in that sense. But we need some sort of model that seems to be working. And it seems like right now we can't find that, because everything is just a shit show and on fire.
Right. And it's like, I like what you're saying, because like, again, not everybody could do everything. And we're best suited to speak on our own experiences, right? So even sometimes you could have somebody who is an American who ends up putting their foot in their mouth because they're trying to amplify a message they may not know enough about. And that's not to say, like, I think personally, to me, and when it comes to all this, I think Black unity is number one. Like, I'll always preach that. And I mean, like, actual unity, acceptance of people, regardless of all of these social constructs. Like, I actually believe in Black unity, like, not leaving out folks who are transgender, folks who are queer, gay, lesbian, differently abled, disabled, whatever it is, the others. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just about, Black cis men and marginalized Black cis women. It's about everybody. And so that's, at least for me personally, when I talk about Black unity, it's very inclusive. So when we talk about what Black Lives Matter mean last week, that's genuinely where I come from, of like, I literally Black people, yes, unity. And so unity looks a lot of ways. It's not just everybody hopping on everything Black. Like, it's also us sharing our tools, our experiences, the things that our successes, our failures, so that other folks could, sort of take the baton and run and keep moving forward, right? I think it's a lot to expect for people to be able to go and talk about. First of all, being Black in America is one whole ass experience. Like, being Black in Nigeria is an entire experience. It's like being Black in Congo. It's a whole experience, because if we really break down, and it's not time for a history lesson, but the Congo, as far as being French and being English, that's a context of that country that you miss, that tension is there if you're not from there. Like, you don't know how, I can say that it's there, but I don't know how deeply seated it is. I don't know the tensions it causes. Just in the same way, I think it's hard to talk about, like, the effects of racism in the US when you've never been here, because you don't actually know what it feels like. And so I think we do have to we all have, like, this common Black experience, and I think that's what should bring us together. And at the end of the day, we should definitely be helping each other, like you said. But I think it's like, how can we realistically take on all this? And like, to me, again, I think it's about recognizing and putting our energy towards, like, the roots of these issues. Like, people want to talk about what this is and how, like, but nobody wants to talk about how we got here and how certain people are responsible for fixing their wrongs, and how do we make sure that those people fix their wrongs rather than blaming other Black people for not amplifying the message.
Jazzy
like,
said
that's
something.
energy.
Jazzy said something at the retreat that we had. She said they expect us to fix a problem that we didn't create. Like, it's not our responsibility to be cleaning up after this shit that someone else created, and now unfortunately we're getting the bad end of the stick, and now it's up to us to fix it.
Right.
And so now we're having these little small, these little internal arguments and blame games, and y'all aren't supporting us like we supported y'all, and it's different because y'all from over here. Like, we all Black, and we all should have each other's back and recognize who we really mad at.
Exactly.
Like, we not mad at each other. Why is this the time where we're like, oh, you're not supporting me enough? I think I support, like, through you more support. Like, girl, how about we just actually point the finger at who we're supposed to be pointing the finger at?
Because I mean, right? Because no matter how much you perceive American privilege to be, the small percentage of Black people in the U.S. cannot save the rest of the Black people globally. It's just not possible. Like,
and it's a hard ask because we're still going through our shit too. Like, that's what we're all trying to lean on each other while at the same time we're all going through some bullshit.
Exactly.
Like,
exactly. And so it's like, I think that creates the burnout part of this expectation. And it's like, I think we have to create, or at least be on the same page about why these issues are coming. Like you said, it's not about Black folks from here fixing things for, folks. That's not possible. And if we keep doing that, we wasting energy and time that we could be using addressing the real issue at hand. People could be organizing towards getting reparations for certain countries. People could be organizing to get reparations for Black people in the US. Tangible things that we could actually get at, rather than, sort of this overwhelming amount that can make you check out. It makes you check out. Like, I think for me, the picking up and the dropping of, I get it. Like, I understand, amplify a message.
Yeah, so I get what exposure does.
I get why it's important to use hashtags. That's not even like the issue. It's just that we've used hashtags for a lot of things. Flint still doesn't have clean water. they still don't, no matter how much we fucking retweeted, shared, all of that shit, that water never got clean. And for me, it's about results.
Well, it goes back to what I was saying before. Who are we talking to? Because at this point, we all know that Flint doesn't have clean water, right? We've been having this hashtag forever. It's been the running thing on Twitter. We don't watch that little girl grow up trying to get water for the city. And at the end of the day, I'm not that it didn't do anything, because it does help. But again, who are we talking to? Because now saying this however many years later does what when you just saying it to me? I know.
Facts.
I can't do anything about it. So at what point does like these hashtags become redundant? Like, great, we got the exposure. Everybody know. You have, maybe people with big platforms trying to use their power to arrange a sit down or whatever. But I guess what I'm trying to say is at some point, the people that we're trying to talk to are seeing it and ignoring it. They see it. They get what's going on. So now what?
It's about what's next, right? And like, I think I am tired of people of communicating with people who I know understand where I'm coming from.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Because that's just continuously wasted energy. Like, if we have a similar sort of lived experience where sometimes I don't even have to tell you. Sometimes we could walk in somewhere and just completely know, like, as Black, like, oh, this shit, we had a bad experience. Why do we have to continuously create this same dialogue of like, oh my gosh, amplify this message, amplify this message, amplify this message? The state of Black people is well known globally. I don't give a shit. I'm sorry, but I don't need no more hashtag to tell me the state of Black people globally. We know what it is. I don't know. It's just frustrating to continuously have this.
Because although some things that I see might be new, none of it is surprising or like unthinkable. Like, oh, hey, maybe I didn't know that this was going on in this specific area. But considering what I know about how Black people are treated around the world, would have sounds plausible. So now what? Like, great.
Black
now I just
people face violence globally.
Yeah. Now I just know another specific example, another specific horrible thing that's happening. Great, but let's get back to the root of the problem
and put our energy towards that. Like, my thing is, what does amplifying a message do? People know about it now. So what? Like, what does that? Okay, now we just all are aware that it's going on. You feel me? So like,
it's almost as if they believe that, if, for example, Trump sees these videos, he's gonna be like, oh my God. I didn't know that this was going on. I see now. Thank you so much for telling me. I see now, and now we're gonna do something about it. Like, I hate to break it to y'all, but all of the bad whiteys, they know what the fuck is going on. This is right up their alley. They're trying to figure out how the fuck we found out. They're like, when did they start realizing that we was still fucking them up? Oh shit, they know exactly what's going on. So like, this raise awareness thing, like,
yeah,
they get it too. They know.
It's just like, and then I think really for me, probably the most disheartening part of something you kind of touched on a little bit is like, and I mean personally, I think it does happen in, I would say, majorly Americans, and then probably a little bit Europeans. But we pick up hashtags and drop them. Like you said, it's a 2-week cycle where we'll use a hashtag, and then that'll be it. But the status, the thing that we were still talking about bringing awareness to, is still happening. My thing is always like, when those things stop trending, what about the people who are having to live in that reality that we're now almost communicating that we don't really care no more because, well, time has passed and we tweeted what we could tweet. That's exactly what I'm looking for is more like something a little bit more sustainable. And I guess I should have prefaced this conversation with, I don't have the answers. I don't have not one. I was talking to Brie about this earlier. I have to be honest, I don't have the specific answers, but I do know what we shouldn't necessarily, what isn't productive.
I can see what isn't, what isn't.
I can see what isn't. If we're saying that this is important to us, these are the messages that we're amplifying, and this is what we want done, those things aren't getting done. So it's something you know, like I always think about my mom when I was younger. She would always tell me the quote, insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. You know what I mean? Like she would always tell me that. And I think about that often because it has to be really sad to be in that position where you're excited to be getting this light and this sort of this attention shed on you. And then for, you know, we talk about it for like celebrities a little bit when it comes to gossip, but imagine it's a life and death. Like, you watching family members pass away, you watching cousins, you watching brothers, you watching sisters, you watching parents actually pass away, and then people said they cared.
And now, like, in the most quote unquote powerful country in the world, right? Like, oh, right. I got America's attention. Like,
right.
You know, they're on board now. So who knows what's about to happen.
Exactly. And it's like, oh my gosh, Beyonce posted an Instagram about us. Like, that may result in an increase in donations, but have we still heard that police band has been disbanded? No. So I hate to be like, oh, I don't know, I feel like I'm being negative, but it's not it. I'm just really looking for how we can pivot to make sure that all this energy, because I do think that people care. I do think so. Like, it's nothing to do with that energy right now because we're not necessarily knowing what to do with it. So I guess I'll say I'm more so opening up a conversation as to solutions and what people see as ways in which we can pivot to actually leverage some of this attention that we're getting to reach that endpoint, whatever that hashtag is that we say we care about, that thing that we want to happen. How do we actually get there? Because I'm tired of the hashtag and then still seeing things happening.
And I think it's scary when we talk about solutions because the solution is to abolish this entire system that has been running the world for the last.
But my question is, how do we
last couple hundred years? You know.
So how do we start to chip at that? How do we start to make a dent?
People are scared because it's something that we're fighting for a world that none of us have ever seen before. None of us,
I agree.
Our whole lineage has never seen before. So
I agree.
We're probably not gonna see.
I agree, and but it's like we're fighting anyways, in my opinion. We're fighting anyways. That energy is being taken from you anyways. So I would like to see that somebody benefits one day from whatever, you know, vision we could have, because I know, at least even in my, I know a few people who are visionaries. We have friends who can craft incredibly visionary plans and sell people on them, you know what I mean? And I'm sure you could think of the folks who I'm talking about in your head right now, but like, we should, I don't know, have those folks who have them plans like amplified.
So how do we amplify the right voices that are capable
with
of like,
action, right? Like things that we could actually do something, you know, because I'm tired. I don't want to just repost something to my story and then that's like.
Well, this is another case of
This is another
case of I don't know, but I know how not. I know what doesn't work again, like we were saying, and that's
what I'm saying.
These dumbass celebrities. I feel like the problem is, let me not even just try to go in on celebrities. I feel like the problem in general is the intention behind a lot of folks trying to lead and too many people wanting to be leaders and not enough people genuinely saying like, hey, I want this to be over. So like, how can I help and support, right? Like some people just need to accept the fact that you are not the type of person that is going to be the founder of, you know, this movement.
Right.
Know your place.
Right.
That sounds harsh, but you know,
no, but it's
how you can
it's harsh. Life is harsh.
Get in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in. Like if your passion is, you know, you want to for example, I used to say I wanted to start a community garden, right? I don't have the capacity to do a fucking community garden. But I have found out that there are a few community gardens that are Black owned in LA. So if that's something that I say that I really want to do, then I could just go help out something that's already established and help amplify that. If my goal was to really make sure that people in LA get access to fresh fruits and
right.
vegetables.
And
If that's
even,
really your goal to help, then just go. There are lots of organizations who have plans already and just need somebody to help amplify their plans, or they need a little extra funding or a little extra
right.
like footwork. So I think a lot of it has to do with, we niggas want to be the next MLK. And there's already a little MLK somewhere who just needs some more support.
And I think realistically, motherfuckers are not trying to necessarily. I always say this: I'm in my job, but I'm in my job to hope that my position disappears one day, like that I'm not needed, because that would mean that the thing that I work towards, it's solved in some way. I made that impact that I wanted to make. But motherfuckers not in a mindset of making sure that their position disappears. So we don't need a MLK. So we don't need a Malcolm X. So we don't need that, because we're so good that becomes irrelevant. You know what I mean? But people are more so invested in and continuing that status quo, so that position is always relevant and then they can always occupy it. You know what I mean? Whereas I'm interested in working myself into irrelevance. And that's just about, because I think like when you climb one mountain, you're going to find another one. At the end of the day, like life is just so cyclical in that way. You might be out of some leadership position for some time because you've done so much for that issue. And that, I think that should be more celebrated, or more like that should be the goal that you work towards, is to make sure that you're not even needed no more because you've done such a fantastic, like you've solved the problem. And I think, and then also not necessarily getting the shine. Like, I think that's a big thing now. Like, people want shine. People want
the
clout.
ego is the hardest thing that's really holding a lot of things back, in my opinion.
Right. I agree.
I really think it has a lot to do with ego. Like,
I agree. I think if it wasn't about ego, we would have a lot of women leading a lot more movements than we currently do, rather than spoon feeding men points that they can't even articulate. Because you want to be the face of something, and I mean, like, even just this past week, gosh, we've just gotten an onslaught from Black men this last week. I mean, Kanye, Cube, 50, or 20, it's just been incessant. And so, like, that's
let's keep talking about some nigga please, like he was surprised that the little Trump son
nigga please to you.
What did you think was gonna happen? Are y'all serious?
Anyway,
what are you talking about?
I guess one thing I'm curious about is like, how do you handle this? How do you handle this feeling that you get, this, like, you talked about, feeling that guilt. You talked about just that heaviness of the day of being around this. Are there things that you do to keep yourself grounded? I know you talked about self-care a little bit. Mm-hmm. But even that can bring guilt.
Yeah.
It's kind of a fun, it's kind of messed up, like a double-edged sword. Like, damn, let me take care of myself. But not
I don't know. I can't say, because I can't say that I have been doing, like, I've been feeling funky. I haven't, right. I don't know. But what I have been doing is trying to find the proper resources to get a good sense of what's going on throughout different places in the world, just so I get a different sense of, like, who are the people that are actually doing the work, and seeing, and then, doing my own research basically to see how I can help, like who's already, like, I don't want to donate to somebody that just started this fund like 2 weeks ago, when this has been like an ongoing problem for years, right? Like, who has been really like in the mud in doing this work. So that's kind of what I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
But also, like, and I've been trying to tell myself, like, girl, I've been trying to tell myself that I shouldn't feel guilty, but also been trying to tell myself, like, but my nigga, but you should feel guilty, but it's good to have that thought in your head to keep you on your toes, to make sure that you're still being, like, I'm not a psychopath. This will keep me, like, engaged and following through about what's going on. Like, that guilt I can turn that guilt into something beneficial by just, like, reminding myself you know, that it's, I don't know what
Yeah.
I'm trying to say, but I hope that
No,
maybe made a little sense.
I feel like you made sense. It's just about like, I think really like touching on that balance of like, yes, I do feel this way. Try to maybe do the self-care, but also knowing that it is important to feel at least something. Like you should feel something from the fact that that's going on and that's positive. But I'm like, I want to do things and feel things that are in some way productive or can like help towards a problem. So like the what you brought up about like research and like finding credible organizations is definitely, that's my first go-to when I see something. I want to go see like who's been in the trenches, like you said, who's been doing the work. Didn't just create an organization a couple weeks ago to get donations and, you know, is about to move on. And usually for me, after I find that, it's like I have this feeling of how much of a global and systematic issue it is that as an individual, I can't really allow myself to take on as much guilt, especially being somebody who like I've seen what militarization in Africa looks like. It's not fucking, it's brutal. It's savage. I don't know. I don't even know how you could possibly describe it, but it's just it's always hard for me to see them kind of things happening, especially when it's Black people in power only slaughtering other Black people.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like for me, I could throw up. I don't know. It's something about that just it'll never ever be able to, you know, sort of settle with me. It's just heartbreaking for me because I do understand this sort of global setting that we do live in, and at the end of the day, niggas don't have nothing to gain from that shit. And if we really was to look at some of the fucking police officers who were, you know, enacting some of this violence, you would notice that these are folks who are pinching pennies just the same themselves.
It's like a little bit of power really got, like, the thought of a little bit of power really got you acting
exactly.
fucking ass.
It's just so gross to me because it's like them people, their status isn't going to be that elevated. They put on that uniform and it becomes something different, like your allegiance is to something else. But you get to go home, you're not living in no mansion, you're not balling, you're not nothing, you just
just fucking
violated people just because you were told to. That's the orders. You know what I mean?
Projection and self-hate. A bunch of people that was fucking bullied and
but even poverty,
access to a little
even
bit
like
of
the
power.
levels of poverty play into that just as much, because if the state is going to ride people into so much poverty and then pay you to be violent, like, you know what I mean? It's just so twisted. It's dark. It's,
you know, I have to think about that when I'm feeling guilty too. Like, it's not my guilt to hold. I did not cause this shit.
right. You're not any kind of
I'm
decision maker.
Yeah, like I'm a fucking human being and
with feelings.
Like, you know, I can see that what's happening is wrong, but I am not the source of this. I'm not the person who has the responsibility of feeling guilt.
Right.
The niggas that are supposed to be feeling guilt aren't guilty, so their guilt is just floating around. Other people
right. How is it that you able to do that and still go to sleep at night, and then I can't sleep? You feel me? Like shit like that. That'll never sit right with me, that you getting a good night of sleep and I can't. And it's not about me also getting a good night of sleep. It's just like I just try to do the most understanding I can, because all of this it is very absurd. And I remember growing up and like the police violence and like it was just crazy. It doesn't make sense when it's just everybody is living in certain levels of poverty, and it's just like how much crumbs are we gonna get? Oh, I got the most crumbs.
So I'm
being
better than
violent.
you. Yeah.
For being violent. Oh, I got the least crumbs. Like, all of it is
and
just...
you getting the most crumbs for being violent. You still only got 3 crumbs.
Right.
The
only thing that's keeping you going is that I have 1 crumb and you got 2 more than me. But we still niggas with crumbs, B.
And
That's
these
my
niggas
whole
got
thing.
a whole loaf put together. No scraps.
Exactly.
Like,
butter, wine, cheese, grapes.
Whole charcuterie board.
Whole charcuterie board. Oh, don't get me started on the charcuterie.
They done figured out a way to make us fight over the crumbs and not even think about the fact that they have cheese over there. Cheddar. Provolone.
Salami, Kodo, spicy.
Brie, Gouda.
Oh, not the brie.
Boursin.
I love the brie. Some prosciutto, throw that on there, B. Come on. I'm getting hungry now. I'm tired. I'm sick of it. It's always very difficult for me when issues of Africa and police starts to, because it's so rotten. I wish people understood how rotten it is. And
I'm at the point where I'm just like, if Mother Nature really decides that she just want to start over, I won't even be mad about it.
I get it.
I'll see the volcano start erupting everywhere and just be like, honestly, I feel you, girl. Nothing. I can't even argue. Hopefully, the next species does better over and out. Like, can't even be mad at you.
Shit.
Or try just letting us come back without the white people and see how we do. For real.
Can we have a sequel?
Let me talk to Mother Nature real quick. And be like,
hold on. Before this motherfucking lava come out. Before this lava come out, girl. Hold on.
We can make a deal, for real. Like that. Did you ever see that movie where the plants was making people commit suicide?
No.
It was called The Happening or something like that.
No.
But people like were all of a sudden just like killing themselves. It was similar to Bird Box, actually. But
I actually didn't watch that either.
The premise of it was that, you know how there are the Venus flytrap type plants that can like get insects to kind of want to go near them and then kill it.
Yeah.
So the premise was that plants were releasing these toxins to make people kill themselves because we were being harmful to the planet. And so like the plants just kept doing that shit until, you know, the population got to a reasonable level and then it was done. So that was what the movie was about. So if Mother Nature could do that, but just to the whites, like just send out that form, that like whatever to the whites and let us just get a crack at it.
I'm down.
The whites and the problematic blacks. Yeah, they just gonna have to wipe us all out. It's gonna be too hard to like decipher.
Take care of all of it.
I'm okay with it.
I don't really want to get started on re-education camps for Negroes.
We'll save it for another episode.
All right, that's it.
All right. Well, now it is time for the check, a portion of the show where we wag our finger, give a little pop on the hand for somebody that was fucking up. So, Sanj, who are you checking this week?
I'm checking a man. I was gonna say a young man, but a man. As always, I don't check the women's.
Have we ever checked the women?
For what? For being perfect.
I'm like, let me think about it.
Nah,
maybe, but I
am checking a man named Jeffrey Toobin. I don't know if you heard about this, but
I didn't.
He is a legal analyst or a chief.
Oh, was that the guy that was
at the New Yorker, and he exposed himself during a break of a work Zoom call meeting.
When people say exposing themselves, that sounds too like, I don't know. I need it to be harsher. Like exposing himself sounds too.
He was all right. Let me try this again.
I'm exposed. Yeah, his dick out. Again.
He was choking his chicken on a Zoom. He was choking his chicken during a Zoom break. And I don't know, folks, if you heard his apology, he more so apologized for not turning his camera off, not for actually choking his chicken on camera.
I don't think I've ever been horny at work, let alone horny enough
Here's
to
what I'll say.
have to get my nut off right now.
Here's what I'll say. It didn't. After reading into this a little bit, I'm sorry I'm smiling, but I just can't stop.
Who was on the work call with him? Was Meg Thee Stallion twerking on the work call?
No, but here's what it doesn't. It sounds like this is a little routine for Jeffrey. It seems like this is something he does often. This is the first time he's done this. It probably is something that he just has a thing that he does. But this is very, 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 very weird. Like,
you know, I saw them joke about this on Girlfriends. Like William made a joke about what did you say, choking his chicken? I saw a lot of different ways to say beating off on the internet also when I was looking at this story, and they were very funny. I should have saved them because they were pretty fucking good. But yeah, William made a joke about this on Girlfriends, like just casually, like, yeah, when I be on my break, I be in there beating my dick. Like,
right.
Wait, dude, is this really what niggas be doing on their breaks?
Apparently.
That is nasty. Like, men are really nasty.
It didn't seem like his first time. It seemed more of like a routine, and then this time he forgot to turn his camera off. And you can imagine, I mean, if you're
That's how you know it's really a routine. You do it so much.
But if you're in a Zoom call and you stand up, I mean...
Put it away. Put it away, please.
You can subscribe to my OnlyFans.
And I know really the real issue is that it was pink. I'm sure that's really what everybody was so bothered by, for real.
Okay, but that was just horrible. That was just horrible. And he has to take time off work. I just think, like...
Chief legal analyst.
Like, I think that's illegal. Boy, what are you doing?
You have to know that is, like, if your job position is the chief legal analyst, you have to know that that's not something that you
can't do that.
Or at least, like, my problem is you not being careful. Like, why are you so reckless and you know your dick is out? If I know that my dick is out, I'm checking the camera 7 times at minimum.
At least, okay, but
like, even when I go on mute, like, now I be like still scared to talk because I'm like, what if there's a glitch and I'm not really on mute? Like,
that's why I think you have the golden question. Who was on that Zoom call because he got reckless? Something must have been, I can't think straight. I got to do this fast. You feel me? So Jeffrey Tubman is getting checked because that's nasty. That's inappropriate. I think it's unfortunate that anybody would have to deal with that at work. Take all the time off you need from work. I don't think nobody really want to see you back, bro.
You're not fired?
And we done seen a lot more of you than we'd like to see probably on that damn work meeting. So that's it. What about you? Who are you checking?
I have 2 checks.
Okay.
My first check is for the NCAA/LSU. For those of you who have not heard, was it last year? It was, or the beginning of this year, probably. But LSU won, and Odell Beckham Jr., who is an American football player, the one that used to be dancing all the time and stuff, right?
The shitty one.
He played for the Knicks, and now he don't anymore. I mean, the Knicks is basketball. He played for the Giants, and now he don't anymore. And so, anyway, I don't want no football beef. He was at the game. LSU is a college team. They won the championship. He was drunk. That was already funny in itself. That probably would have already got him in trouble in itself because he was, like, obviously drunk, going around like, yeah, nigga, we did that shit. It's lit. Did he go there, I'm assuming? He went to LSU?
He went there. He's alumni.
Okay.
He's alumni.
And so he was also giving out handshakes with money in his hand to some of the players. Yep. Didn't seem like a crazy amount of money. Now that's a lie because anybody giving me money is a crazy amount to me. My cash app, I'll put in the comments.
But I guess in football player terms, though.
Yeah, in football player terms, he gave them maybe like 1,000, maybe 2,000.
Maybe total. He seemed like he was slapping like $100-$200 in people's hands.
Yeah. So if you know anything about or let me say, if you don't know anything about the NCAA, that is the National College Athletes Association. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
They are the niggas that make billions off of college athletes and only give these niggas a scholarship and be like, but we gave them a scholarship and don't give them nothing else. And if any of their players take a free pencil from the bitch behind them in class, it's an investigation. The scholarship is lost. They're making these niggas billions. The coaches, millionaires. The players, 90% of them won't
Don't
make it
even
to the
got enough
pros.
dining dollars to get lunch.
Can't get meals. Most of them won't make it to the pros. Injured their body, CTE everywhere. But these niggas can't get a fucking pencil.
I gotta stop laughing, bro. We gotta stop
being I'm sorry.
This is serious.
So Odell gave these niggas some money for like enough for like a Telfar bag. Like not
maybe
much.
half a Jordan.
You know, maybe like a bottle of Clase Azul. And the NCAA did an investigation, and so now Odell Beckham is banned from LSU games for 2 years. Mind you, this is also a nigga that made them a bunch of money.
Also, there's no fans this year, so okay, ban me.
He's banned for 2 years, and I believe that they said there were like 8 scholarships lost or something like that.
But that was due to a different situation. But yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't aware.
That wasn't Odell.
NCAA threw a whole hissy fit. Now, if he would have gave them some money, if he would have cut a check to the school, they would have gave homeboy a plaque. But all he did was give these young boys a little, not even enough to pay the gas bill, you know, and penalization. Like they are like, nigga, y'all are gonna make us billions, and if y'all even think about making $50, you're fucking out of here. You need to be appreciative that you going to college for free, bozo. Like, oh, you mean the college that I'm funding, my nigga? Imagine if I didn't go here. I can't wait until Black athletes start only going to HBCUs.
Agreed.
That they are going to. I'm not trying to be okay. We do laugh a little too much because I'm not trying to be funny. They gonna do the HBCUs like Tulsa, Oklahoma. They're gonna blow them bitches up once the Black athletes start saying that they going there. It's over for that shit. I'll tell you that right now. They're like, oh no. Once BET start airing in games.
Oh.
That's done for. But yeah, so I'm checking the NCAA because they're awful. Then my second check really quickly is to I was reading an article about how homicide in LA increased this year, and it said like it's projected to be over 300 homicides in LA this year, which is higher than the last few years or whatever.
Okay.
And just a couple of things about that rubbed me like the wrong way. One, are y'all counting the homicides from police? Just curious. They weren't when I read the articles, but just curious to know what that number looks like if you include all of the deaths from the police killing niggas. And then 2, there was an excerpt from the article where they specifically were just like, you know, this is coming after the police budget was cut $150 million or however much. And so, you know, crime is increasing because the police, but they've made budget cuts. And so that's why this year, out of all the years, there's going to projected to be more homicides than the past few years. Oh. And I'm just here to say, once again, y'all, that's some bullshit. The police don't prevent crime. We see that every day when hella women be like, hey, this nigga is stalking me. I think he's going to kill me. And they be like, we can't do nothing about it until you're dead. Like, they don't prevent crime. They don't prevent murder. So
also,
using the basis.
All them fucking kids are still, I ain't never seen, all them damn missing kids I see. Y'all be talking about who gonna find the missing kids. It ain't damn sure ain't the goddamn police.
Was the funding going for that? So I just wanted to like use that as a reminder. Don't let stupid people tell you like, oh, well, you know, we can't, if we abolish the police, look at all these murders. Yeah, all these murders is happening now and we have police. So that's not a good enough argument for to tell me that we don't need them. Was that
before or after the police were gone, you fucking idiot?
That's like when Trump supporters be like, oh, Trump is going to fix everything in the next 4 years. Like, okay, who messed it up the last 4 years? Like, that's like they're saying fix everything. Like, this nigga hasn't been in power. That's what that sounds like. So I just wanted to say, like, fuck you to that article. I was reading it and I was just like, what? Like, I was reading it just to, like, become aware, because I have been seeing, like, on my timeline, a lot of people been, like, killed. Like, I see a lot of people that I know saying a lot of rest in peace, rest in pieces, rest in powers, all of that. So I was just reading up on it, like, oh, you know, let me read up on this. But they snuck that little part in the end, like, this is off the backs of the police being defunded. Like, oh, so suck a dick. Give it a rest and suck a dick. Shut up. Shut up, please. I've had enough. So that's who I'm checking for this week.
10-4. All right. Well, on to the last portion of the podcast, the tip. This, for our new listeners, is the point of the podcast in which we get to recognize, uplift, uphold, show light to something positive that has happened this week. We don't wag our fingers. Not at this point. We're done with that. The tip is really the opposite of the check. We only give a thumbs up. So, Camille, who are you tipping? You have your tip yet? You want me to go? What's up? Got your tip?
I have no idea, but I'm just gonna wing it.
Cool.
Who am I going to leave a tip for this week?
Yeah, what's up?
I really don't know. And you know what? I think that's okay.
I agree. Sometimes it's the non-tip week.
I don't want to give fake praise.
Don't give
someone,
fake tips.
You know,
no fake tips.
For nothing. I guess I can tip all of the people who are working during the pandemic, like while I'm at restaurants and shit. Like
there you go.
I'll tip them because I have been going
they're
to
getting
restaurants.
2 tips.
They're getting double the tip because I've been tipping.
You should go to no tip. I'll shout you out on my
be like, hold on, let me play. Wait, hold on. Listen, put your ear right here and then play it. Like, there go your tip, girl. Don't say I didn't do nothing for you. But
come on.
Since I have been, you know, going out to eat and stuff, or going apple picking, or going to my friend Kristen Bayview Classic event that I'm going to, where we all get like our little socially distanced boat or whatever with your party. But all those people are working, and so I'm tipping y'all. Thank you for your service.
We love it.
Sanj, who are you leaving a tip for this week?
You're gonna love this. I'm actually tipping the mayor of Compton.
Okay. Why I love it though? I'm not from Compton.
You're from LA though. LA is part of it. I know.
Yeah, but people like set trip on the different sub counties, sub cities.
I guess, but like I feel like maybe you're not one of those
too far.
people.
I didn't grow up too far from Compton though. It was the next city over.
I know, Inglewood up to no good.
Nope, you're wrong.
Damn it.
Where I grew up is in between Gardena and Compton.
Oh, okay.
That's where my daddy house
is called what?
Technically, it's considered Athens. That's like what the official name of the city is. I used to just tell people Gardena. Like
Athens,
I live on the outskirts.
They got all the men's.
There are active gangs over here. It's not a joke. We couldn't go to the swimming. We couldn't go to the pool right up the street. But we was going to Jesse Owens. Make it make sense. Anyway, okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead and shout out Compton.
Shout out to Compton.
Shout out YG. Mayor, shout out Kendrick. AD.
The mayor, Asia Brown, actually has pledged to give 800 low-income residents guaranteed income for 2 years. So
jobs.
Yeah, not jobs, just money. Yes. So folks who are considered to be that far below the poverty line will now get automatic income for the next 2 years.
Did she like present a specific plan?
Yeah, so she actually is, they actually have created like a website for people to be able to claim their money and stuff like that already. So it's like something that's been in motion, that's been approved, that they actually have the money for.
That's what's
so
up.
$300 to $600 as far as I'm not sure if these are monthly or weekly cash payments. I didn't get to read too deeply into it, but there's an online portal where folks will be able to choose whether they want to receive their money in like a debit card or direct deposit. And I was reading a stat that about 1 in 5 Compton residents live below the federal poverty line. So this is like a start to me. Like I'm for some sort of like universal income, especially when it comes to places that are highly populated with Black folks. Like the niggas are owed money anyways, especially when you talk about LA and how much profit there is in, you know, obviously I don't have to tell you, from there, you done seen the changes over the past 20 something years. And so even just to hear something as small as this, as some, you know, folks being guaranteed income, 2 years is such, that's, I don't know, I just found that so amazing.
That's bomb. The sad part about a lot of Black people that I see out here is that it's that same mentality where it's like, oh, you know, they're lazy and I've gotten my stuff, so why can't they just get a job? We just giving free money. Like still this kind of I want to have 3 crumbs to their 1 crumb.
Right.
Instead of just being happy that everyone is like eating.
Yeah, I definitely understand that, because like it is something that passed that people are like, oh, socialism is like well and alive or whatever, you know, like everybody should work hard for theirs. But at the same time, like we have to start talking about this, but beginning to counteract or to address the effects of systematic racism. Like you got to start somewhere. And I don't think this is perfect, but I do appreciate things that get us to somewhere closer to that, like to where we could actually recognize that, look, folks pay taxes, don't make enough money, and do need an extra boost. And it is the responsibility of the government, who we pay taxes to make sure that we're taken care of, and for a set period of time. Like one of the most annoying things about like presidential elections is things are like thrown up in the air. You got healthcare for 4 years, and then you got another 4 years where you don't have it. People just playing DACA. Oh, we got DACA. Oh, we taking DACA away. Oh, we putting DACA back. So this thing of like playing with people's lives. And so I think it's so important to make sure that people know for 2 years, you could count on this thing happening. You know what I mean? And I think that's so longevity and stuff like that is so important. And to start in a place like Compton to me is important. And hopefully it reaches the most need, the folks who have the most need. But I just wanted to tip that because I thought it was creative. It was something that a lot of people respond to that with, I don't know where to get the money for it, or this, that, and the other. So to see somebody actually execute it, or a place execute it, and make sure that folks are taken care of is a big deal to me. So I just wanted to tip, you know, the local government in Compton, because I'm sure it's not just the mayor, but all of the sort of local people who went into making that happen, because it is something that we should dream of, that we should get to. We should be okay with people just being fine to at least be able to meet their basic needs. Just because you worked for it and you were able to meet it and exceed it doesn't mean that everybody necessarily has the same opportunities. And I don't think it's necessarily fun to watch people suffer while you win it. So
right, like how does it hurt you that somebody is able to like cook tonight?
Yeah, and it's not like an absorbent amount of money. It's not like, it's not life-changing. Like they didn't win the lottery.
It's just money, so literally they can't get groceries.
Right, like it's money that they feed themselves with. They also pay taxes with, you know, whenever that they are, you know, purchasing things for goods or making money. So it's everybody's money. You know what I mean? So I do understand that people do feel like that, like, oh, I worked hard for it. But I'm like, if I have a hard time watching people lose when I'm winning too. So at least in that sense, money and like taking care of themselves, getting your basic needs met. But rugby, I love watching people lose while I win. So it's different. I ain't no bitch.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, that took a turn. But that is great what's going on in Compton. I hope that the scammers don't get a wind of it. And I hope that the people who actually need it are able to benefit from it.
Hopefully this agent takes care of the scammer.
I definitely think that we should, make sure that the scammers don't get knowledge of this.
I got you.
And
don't let the word get out.
It's a necessary comment. Like it needs to be said.
Listen, I wouldn't argue. I know you know, I wouldn't
It would
argue.
be
I feel like
different if
it's
niggas
better.
was like, if niggas was on some Robin Hood shit with they scamming, but niggas are solely on their, you know, Christian Dior,
Yes.
1942,
Right.
Airbnb, The
Right.
Level. If you don't know what The Level is in LA, oh, do you know what The Level is? It's
I
not just
don't.
in LA, it's in other major cities.
Mm-hmm.
But it's supposed to be it's supposed to be like, kind of like you can Airbnb an apartment
Okay.
/ hotel type of thing. But it's supposed to be like short leases for people that travel a lot, right?
Oh,
But
okay.
what niggas have been doing in LA are just renting them out for like the weekend. It's supposed to be like really strict, like, you know, only person that can come down, like you need your elevator key to go to your level. Like if
Right.
my room is on
Either
level
5.
5, I can't get to 6 or 4. I can only go to 5.
Right.
Right. And so it's supposed to be this big strict thing, but niggas have been nigging all through the level, all quarantine. So many parties, so many functions. I forgot why I said this. But that's something that the scammers have been doing. So it's like if people could like use their scamming capabilities for good.
Put that energy towards something.
Maybe not even all of it. I know that's like unreasonable if you're a scammer, right? But if you looked at it like it's giving tithes in church. And so like 20% of your scammer money has to go to like a good cause.
That's funny.
And then fuck off the other 80%. That would be helpful if the scammers could at least do that. You know, but that would be asking for a lot. So
that's hilarious. Yeah. Well,
let's keep this information away from them.
Shout out to the scammers. Stay away from this one, guys.
But don't stay away from me.
Yeah, stay away from this one, not this one. Y'all can't see me pointing.
I'm ready.
But that's the show for this week. We got through it. We made it. Another week. Wishing y'all the best. Peace.
Take care. Make sure you subscribe and
like.
I think I'm supposed to say this at the beginning.
Like, subscribe, comment, follow.
Live tweet. I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say.
Engage.
You know, that's it. But thank y'all for tuning in. See y'all next week.
Peace.
Bye.